Today is another beautiful day in my bonsai jungle, and today what I'm going to be showing you how to do is make jungle soil. So what I'm starting with is a very highly clay soil, which is dry, it crumbles apart, and what I'm going to do to fix that is add a bunch of organic matter, and this organic matter is going to be the pine shavings, the manure, and the hay off of this horse farm. So I'm going to scoop all that up into bags, bring it back to the bonsai jungle, and just start dumping it in and raking it around the roots of the plants. Now, you don't need to get it too close to the trunk, but I'm kind of just spreading it around in the obvious empty spaces here. And you can obviously alter this mix however you want. If I want to do pure manure, I could do that. If I just want to do the pine shavings, I could do that. Or I can just cover this with hay if I wanted to use that kind of as a weed barrier. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just adding organic material here. This is similar to what would happen in nature. If you think about it, when all the leaves fall, if the animals, take a shit in the jungle, that's basically what you'd have here. And then also what I add is that hay. I mean, that's kind of similar to grass. It's more plant material that's decomposing. That pine shavings, it's almost like the logs that crumble apart and add to the soil inside of a forest or a jungle, and all that organic material holds a lot of moisture, way more than just the clay on its own would. So that's basically the whole premise here. Now, what I can also do is pluck the weeds, and I toss those onto there. I try and destroy the roots as much as possible. And they dry out in the sun as well. And then I can also toss a bunch of fruit and vegetable peels and random odds and ends here. You could also take a piss in a jar, mix it with water, and dump that over the mulch. It's important to note that most of the mulch I collected here was actually only specifically the spots the horses were pissing on for a while. So that's soaked with all that urea that's going to be breaking apart and helping it decompose faster. And also, there you go, there's your nitrogen source. And what I also did was I inoculated this whole garden bed with a bunch of wine cap mushrooms. So that's going to be decomposing all this stuff here. And then you can eat the mushrooms at the end of the season as well. And what I'm basically replicating is stuff that would be happening on the forest floor or in the jungle as things, die, decompose, get transformed back into soil with the bacteria and the fungus. And I did this last year, didn't have, too many crazy problems. So if you're, using it around your food items like vegetables, then some people may say, oh yeah, the manure that might introduce some bacteria. You want to make sure that's not fresh. It's composted. I mean, for the most part, that's true. I mean, I don't think I'm going to legally be able to advise you against it, but I've grown, fresh manure, or I mulched it. I not mulched it. I tilled it into my garden bed maybe like a month before I started planting, potatoes and stuff. So, you could do what you want with your life, man. That's going to be the motto in the jungle, I guess. So this is pretty much it for the video. All I have to say. If what I'm also going to be doing is adding the fertilizer. So if there was an issue with the decomposing wood robbing the nitrogen out of the soil, I mean, that addition of the fish emulsion and the organic fertilizers and blood meal that I put around the root base of these plants, that's going to be plenty of nutrients for the year. So there you go. There's one final shot of my jungle.